Hi, everybody. Mike Hancock here, and welcome to this week's webinar and our update featuring a good friend of mine, Neeraj Shah from Mumbai in India. And Neeraj and I were just talking offset there. And, it was 9 years ago when we first met, and Neeraj became a Circle of Excellence member. I'm not sure which one, but there's many hundreds that have come after you, Neeraj, so that's for sure. A lot of people, don't know too much about Neeraj's background, but I do want to mention this, is that he was actually the pivotal person for bringing BNI into India and was the head of BNI India. And I can't remember how many members really came in under your sort of tutorage for those few years that you were involved with BNI, but certainly it was in the tens of thousands. There was no doubt about that. Neeraj has lived and worked in many places around the world. He's a consummate professional. And today I'm really excited to hear his take on how to launch a 10K plus offer in the next 60 days without confusion, wasting time and spending a dime on ads. Because I think so many people, and I was talking to one yesterday, Neeraj, her business plan was revolved around spending lots of money on ads. And I'm just like, why would you want to do this? So over to Neeraj, welcome. You've got people from all around the world on the call, so it's all yours.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. And it's great to be back with you, brother. I'm really excited. What I'm going to do is I have an iPad with me right now. So I'm going to be sharing and I'm going to be writing a couple of things here on the iPad. And then I do have a little PowerPoint. Let's do about 45 minutes to 50 minutes in terms of the content, and then we can have some Q&A. So just to let you know, in terms of my BNI experience, I was with BNI for over 11 years and grew that from 0 to 10,000 plus members, and ended up selling 28 franchises. And the kind of system that I'm going to be talking about today, we ended up selling franchises that were anything from $20,000 to $100,000. Okay, so we've used that same system, and whether it is consulting or coaching or some other product, this works really well. It's been tested with my clients as well across multiple industries. Sorry about that. Give me a second. Okay, so I think the first thing we've got to get into is, if we're looking at working at high price points, we've got to get our mindset around it. Because if our mindset is not in the game, then we're not really going to be able to move forward. So I'm not going to get into much in terms of the mindset, but I just want to say that you've really got to understand who it is that you are serving and the value that you're able to bring to the table. And I always love to kind of ponder upon all the people that I've had an opportunity to help, and particularly look at the transformation that they've gone through. So in terms of, where were they before I came into the picture, and after I finished working with them, what were the incredible things that we were able to achieve? And not only from perhaps the business side, but overall, because it gives there are many different aspects of life that get transformed, and writing things like that down will really help you understand the value that you bring to the table. So I'm going to just draw this, okay, and so I'm going to just put the mindset. And one of the best ways which ends up motivating me is, what if I wasn't able to help? Imagine all the suffering they have to go through. And for me, that's a very painful thing to consider. So it's almost like it flips it for me, and really I really feel like I need to go out there and really help the person. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is that if you are selling this high value product, then one of the best ways to do that in this day and age with the kind of lockdowns and virtual remote selling, etc., is we've got to use social selling principles. Now, I've spent about 17 years in the networking space. So my journey with BNI started in 2004, and I've been networking ever since. The interesting thing was when I moved to India, I actually knew only just one person, and that was a person from a completely different business. I used to be in the commodities business, and we had ended up buying some packaging machines from this particular gentleman, and that was it. And so I ended up moving to a brand new country with just one person in my network, and it would have helped if I already had a network in place. But I didn't, and I had to start from scratch, and I had to learn a brand new business and grow that. So how was I able to do it? So the process I used was something called VCP, and it's something that the founder of BNI put together. His name is Dr. Ivan Meisner, and is one of the foremost authorities on networking. And V stands for visibility, and it's a process and not a formula. Often gets quoted as being a formula, but it is a process. And people might also know it as KLT. Okay, again, both are processes. I think they're two sides of the same coin. So V stands for visibility. You've got to find a way to become visible to the kind of people that you want to serve. C stands for credibility. It doesn't help if you're just visible to them. They must feel that you are credible in terms of solving a key problem that they have. And so that's all about credibility. And then P, it leads to profitability. So KLT stands for, people need to know, like, and trust you. And again, we can't jump the gun. We can't go from no to trust. And we've got to go through the like phase as well. And a fun way to consider it is from a relationship aspect, where imagine you're going on a first date and you ask the girl to marry you. So it may not turn out in the way that you expect. So you need to go through the like phase to then build trust. So these are some of the principles that I started to use, and I'm going to show you how you can begin to incorporate all of these different things into putting together these steps. So I'm going to look at 6 key steps here, and if you see this little circle which is there, pitch, profile, prospect, publish, product, and profit. Okay, I'm going to take you through that. So now imagine we're very clear about who it is that we want to serve, the kind of business, the kind of company, the kind of founders, whatever the case may be. One of the first and most important things that we've got to get crystal clear about is we've got to get crystal clear about our pitch. And what I would say in this particular day and age is to make sure that we have a painkiller pitch. Why? Because people are not wanting luxuries these days. In fact, when the lockdowns happened across the world, what were the key products and services that were available? They were the essential services. So you've got to position your pitch in such a way that what is a key pressing problem that your ideal client has, and then how is it that you're able to solve it and then put it together as a elevator pitch which opens up the conversation in a strong way. Now, I have a specific formula that I use, which I'd like to share with you right now, okay, which is SA, which is the specific avatar, the ideal client that you want to deal with, okay? Then, what is a core currency that you're able to bring about a measurable result on? And typically, there are four key currencies that either of us work on. So we're either helping someone with their health, their wealth, their business, or their relationships. Those typically are the four areas that people would like help with, and they'd like to have problems solved. So you've got to be very clear about the specific currency that you're able to solve. So C stands for that currency. And in this particular case, that the title of this particular talk is, how to launch a 10,000K plus offer. Okay. So now the currency is that sales revenue. Okay. Then what we're trying to do is we're trying to get clear about a metric. What is a measurable metric? And when I was talking to a friend of mine based in Australia, she said, you keep talking about a high ticket offer. What's your definition of a high ticket offer? Because we could all have a different value. So I said, good point. I said, well, $10,000 and upward is what, in my books would be a high ticket offer. So she said, why don't you say that? I said, okay, why don't I test it out? And I started testing that out, and it began to get a very good feedback. So currency, then a measurable metric. Okay. Then what you want is a timeline. By what timeline can you help solve that particular problem? Okay. So maybe you've been able to do it within a particular timeline, or you've helped others achieve that particular timeline. So those are all there. And then minus, okay, what are the frustrations that your ideal clients don't like, which you're able to solve? So in this particular case, you'll notice here I've used without confusion, wasting, it should be wasting time and spending a dime on ads. So those are things that I know I'm able to help solve problems with. And you want to, what initially tends to happen is when you put together something like this, it may initially be a little bit verbose, but you keep chipping away at it and you keep trying it out. Talk to some of your best clients and see how it lands with them, and they'll be able to give you some quick feedback. If you begin to then use it as elevator pitches, if people begin to ask you, tell me more about that, that sounds interesting, then it's beginning to deliver the right results. Okay, so we've covered the pitch part of it. Okay, now we come to the profile. So what do I mean by profile? Well, in this day and age, most people, if they're considering buying from you, are going to do some groundwork online to check you out. They'll check out your social media profiles, they'll check out your websites, things like that. For me, my favorite place to hang out, my happy place on the internet, even if you don't have a website, I would say for me is LinkedIn. And when Mike was asking, what's one of your favorite things for 2021? Since I've been on LinkedIn for I was an early adopter, so since 2005. But you can say that I really got deep into it from last year, because I essentially had a business that was very India focused and very Mumbai focused, which is where I'm based. So when all the lockdowns happened, I had to suddenly pivot and go global. And I decided, okay, since I understand networking, let me begin to apply those particular things to LinkedIn and see what the results are. And it's worked beautifully. Now, one of the things that you have in your LinkedIn profile is the About section. And the About section, if you put the first two sentences being your elevator pitch, in fact, if people want to read more about it, they have to click on a see more. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that your profile is congruent with your pitch, whether it be your website, whether it be your LinkedIn profile, whether it's your Instagram profile, whether it's your Facebook profile, whether it's your YouTube profile, wherever your ideal clients hang out. Okay, you want to make sure that that particular profile is congruent, and it will help build that visibility. And a great way to build trust and credibility is to use social proof. So on LinkedIn, how can we do that? It's through recommendations. Okay, on Google My Business, it is through Google reviews. And whether we like it or not, it makes a huge difference. I have a client who owns 3 hospitals. He's a pediatric ophthalmologist. So he's not just even an ordinary ophthalmologist, he's a pediatric ophthalmologist. And one of the things that we did while we were working with him, I said, look, you are doing amazing work. People love the kind of work you do, the kind of results you've been able to get are just incredible. I said, why don't you do this where incentivize your receptionist, okay, when someone has completed their treatment, to ask for a Google review, and incentivize it in such a way that if they get that particular Google review, then there is a positive financial incentive as well. And I said that, look, people are going to start viewing this from how things were from the beginning, from the first time they came into your hospital to when they left. And if you then make sure that the person in charge is your receptionist, then she's going to also make sure that she's going to do a good job. He's ended up getting over 530 Google reviews in the last 2 years. And it is driving an insane amount of traffic. Imagine a ophthalmic hospital getting 10,000 views. Like literally, it's got to a stage where people see all these Google reviews and they just end up booking appointments, booking for operations. They just want to have an appointment just to confirm what they've read, have that peace of mind and confidence. And people from right across the world are ending up becoming his patients. That is the power of social proof. So utilize this, and then you can end up taking screenshots of the social proof and use it all over. So you can use it in case studies, you can use it in LinkedIn stories, you can use it in Instagram posts, you can use it. People just love that. And rather than you saying you're good, you've got your clients saying you're good. Okay. So these are some couple of things. And what I want to tell you is that, look, I know we're limited with time. So I have a little gift which, I want you guys to check out. And if some of you are active on LinkedIn or you've not been, okay, I want to help you get an all-star profile, okay? So I'm going to just write a little URL here, ULP, so Ultimate LinkedIn Profile. Okay, sorry, .me, okay, and I'll just highlight that, okay. Check that out a little bit later, not right now. And please go through it. I take you through a small mini training, and this will help you really become visible. Now, the reason I love Google, I love LinkedIn, is that LinkedIn is completely optimized for Google. In fact, it has a 100 out of 100 Moz score. Now, all the geeks out there might know about that, but for ordinary people, you might not know it. It essentially means that it's one of the first things that will show up on Google. So if you then put in your name, Google your name, okay, it's very likely that your LinkedIn profile will come up first. Now, if you're in the B2B market and sector, there's research which shows that 67% of B2B buyers will check out your LinkedIn profile before deciding to buy. Okay, I hope I'm making a good case for you to, even if you're not going to be active on LinkedIn, just having an optimized and completely filled in um, LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover. With profile. So mindset, pitch, profile. Now let's come into prospecting. Yes, you can use Facebook ads and things like that to begin to build a list of prospects, but you can do it essentially for free on LinkedIn. You don't even need to have any of the paid versions of LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has two different paid versions. One is premium, which really is not worth it, in my opinion, and Sales Navigator, which is worth it, but the equivalent is like having a Formula One car, but if you didn't know how to drive, what good is a Formula One car? So you need to know how to use the free version of LinkedIn, begin to get some business out of it, and then consider upgrading to the Sales Navigator version. Okay, so now prospecting. The cool thing about LinkedIn is that Microsoft spent $26 billion. They weren't crazy when they spent that amount of money. I know a lot of people said that that's crazy. Okay, and we've seen some amazing things happen after Microsoft has bought it. It's been about 4 years. And now there are 760 million people on LinkedIn. It is the number one business network. And you will be able to find people according to very specific combinations of, job title, previous and present, industries, location, whether you have a mutual connection in between, things like that. Okay. If you use the Sales Navigator version, then you can even begin to look at in terms of, are those people currently active on LinkedIn or not, but I'm going to show you I'm going to just share a quick hack that you can just find out using the free version. But also it can help you bifurcate your list of prospects according to how big the company is in terms of not only revenues, but also in terms of employee size. And for that reason, I think this is one of the most important prospecting tools out there. And you can begin to build these prospecting lists, and you're able to do research on these people by visiting their profiles. And the cool thing is, if they are active on LinkedIn, it will actually send them a notification that you came and visited their profile. So they will also get curious about you. This is how you can become visible to them even before meeting them, or even before sending them a connection request. Okay, so I love this, and there are 7 different filters that you can end up using, and you can have a tremendous amount of fun. One of the things that I will say to you is learn how to do something called Boolean search. Okay, and Boolean search is simply an advanced search which works really well both on LinkedIn and also on Google, and it will then help you build these lists of the perfect prospects without hitting the commercial search limits, and then you don't need to end up investing in the paid version of LinkedIn. Okay, so now you've built this awesome list of prospects, the perfect prospects. You're building a strong network. Then we come to, and I'm going to put a little red thing. Okay, yeah. And let's now come to publishing. Publishing content is a great way to build your credibility. It's a great way to unpack your intellectual property. It's a great way to be seen as a thought leader. And again, I'm going to come back to LinkedIn, because the organic reach on LinkedIn is insane compared to Facebook and Instagram. And I am active across all of those, but the kind of views that I'm able to get, just last week I had 2 posts which did really well on LinkedIn. One had over 75,000 views, and the other one had over 43,000 views. Okay, and I'm a data-driven marketer, so I don't do anything without data. So I'm able to kind of justify it. And if you're familiar with Roger Hamilton, I'm a Lord profile, so I'm very much a numbers-driven person. So I like to take decisions based on numbers. And what's happening is that LinkedIn, apart from being the #1 business network out there, it is also a publishing network. And now what they are doing is that they've turned on something called creator mode, and now they're rolling this out across LinkedIn. So you may or may not have that available right now, but it will be available sooner or later. And the great thing is you don't have much competition. Out of the 760 million people out there, only 5% of people are creating content, and therefore 95% are consuming content. So you have that opportunity to really become visible and credible. And I think with regard to publishing content, I'd just like to share 2 simple formulas. Okay, so One is 60-30-10. Okay, it's ratios. Okay, 60% inspirational stuff, inspirational content. And out of all the social networks out there, I found LinkedIn to be the most positive. Like if you put a positive post, the amount of people that will celebrate it is just incredible. I find some of the other social networks are quite negative, or people try and pull you down or try and get into a fight, but not the case with LinkedIn. And 30% think of educational content. And if you're going to divide that, okay, 10% should be make people aware of the problems that they face, because some of your ideal clients, your prospects, are so stuck in their problems, they don't even know that there's a solution. And because you've dealt with so many prospects, you're able to articulate the problem better than they are. And when you're able to do that, it really helps build empathy. Then you're able to unpack what I will call solution aware content. So then you allow them to understand that for every problem there is a solution, and you do have a solution. And finally, make people results aware. What are the results that your system, your product has helped achieve? It could be you've either received the results, or you've helped others achieve results. And this is where, remember, the social proof, all of that comes together in a nice way. And the 10% is all about promotional posts. And unfortunately, what I've seen a number of people do is they try and do too much promotional posts, and they're not gained enough what I would call social capital to really ask people for business. And in the promotional post, I would say 5% of it would be a soft promotion. So what do I mean by a soft promotion? It might be something like a lead magnet. And the other 5% would be a hard promotion. So what's a hard promotion? Like literally inviting people to work with you. Okay. And this is the key: inviting people, not trying to sell. Everyone loves an invitation. No one likes to be sold to. So saying, I'm opening up my calendar in this particular month. I have 5 slots available, and I would like to invite you if you fall into these categories, and be clear about what are the qualifying criteria that you have. You don't want everyone to be your client. Be clear about the kind of people that you want as a client, and in that way you will get the right people wanting to have a conversation with you, and it will certainly be a lot more enjoyable than wasting time with some fire clickers. Okay, so I'm through kind of with publish. Okay. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about product. And what I'm going to share right now with you about product are things that I've discovered over 2020, 2021. So these are some of the latest things, and definitely people have had to digitize their businesses. And what I have found, if you kind of have a service business, then these are the 3 models that I have found have worked. Okay, so I'm going to just write these acronyms down, and then I'm going to take you through them. Okay, so you have the DIY, which is the do-it-yourself version, and that is the kind of lower priced, the low ticket. Okay, then you have the done with you. Okay, and that might be a mid-priced product, and then you may have a done for you, okay, which is your highest level, or there may be a kind of a one-to-one version of done with you, which really helps people customize. It's the level of support. And what I've understood is that people are willing to pay for the level of support. For the and what you want to do is you want to go reverse. You want to start with your high ticket offer. If they can't afford the highest ticket offer, then you downsell them on maybe say a group coaching or a group consulting program, and then if they can't afford that, then they go down into the DIY. And I have to say, this was a bit of a revelation initially for me, because I remember we went into lockdown in India around the end of March, going into April, and then suddenly I had a number of people reach out to me who hadn't reached out before. They had known about me, and they signed up straight for the highest package that I had. And what I noticed about all of these particular people were they all had built companies that were sizable, and they wanted to save time. They had known about my expertise, and they said, "We've been consuming your content for ages." And literally, they could even quote specific things. I really like this part. That video you made, that blog post you had posted. And that let me know that these people have been following me for quite some time. And one of the questions I had is like, why now? Like, you've known about me for ages. And one particular gentleman had known me for 12 years. And when I knew him, he initially had 25 outlets. He's now grown to over 200 outlets. So it's become now $100 million business. And he said, that I didn't have the time, but now, I have no choice. I have all the time, and I want to fast track my results. And I don't have any issues. I want to go ahead with this. So this is something that I found work. And then it's easier to sell the higher end products. Surprisingly, it's a lot more profitable. And then you can begin to record some of the content where you may be doing some group coaching or consulting, and that ends up being content that you can have as part of your DIY. So it's recorded live. You're adding tremendous value, and then there might be some sort of either membership site or. But the surprising thing is that even for the high-end done with you, I give them access to the same program that I will give to the do-it-yourself. And it's just the level of support that they get that's different. Okay, so I've covered that. Okay. Finally, we come down to profit. And in terms of profit, some of the things that I found that have worked really well is having something that is, again, aligned in terms of the key painkiller pitch that you have and creating multiple lead magnets around it. And what I want to do is I wanted to share with you the simple system that I have that I currently use. And it's not rocket science, but this is a little bit of automation, marketing automation that's there. So give me a second. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'll quickly show you how I book appointments. It's a very simple system. So are you able to see something which says one page high ticket appointment accelerator framework? Yes. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Mike. Okay. So very simple. What I've done is whatever is my process that I work with my clients, I've divided it into a 3x3 matrix, and I created a visual roadmap of what are the specific steps of how I help people achieve the results. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a example, of that, and then each of these three are divided into a stage. So here I have a profile stage, prospect stage, and a profit stage. Okay, so rather than telling someone about something, they have something visual, and then I can do the show and tell, which people are able to understand very quickly, and it helps not only in conversion but also even in the lead generation and building credibility. Because what people want to know is that you have a system. They don't need to know the complete intricacies of all the things that are in the system. They just you need to deliver enough value initially where they feel, okay, I think this person knows this. They seem to have something which looks professional, and let me at least have a conversation, or at least let me consume some content. Okay, so then what I do is I pick, like I try and identify what are the three hottest steps within this 3x3 matrix. So in my case, say people always are asking me about, how do I get a all-star LinkedIn profile? How do I generate more leads? And then, how do I book more appointments so that we turn those leads into prospects and actually people wanting to turn up on calls? And then, how do we convert? So once I've identified those, okay, then I turn that one step into a one-page format. Now, right now, what you are seeing is one of those one-page formats. So again, this is a great thing that is your lead magnet, and actually is actually part of your training. You can use this to create a little video. You can create a blog post around this. You can create a long Facebook post around this, all sorts of things. What I found works really well, templates, mind maps, checklists, they work really well. Anything that you can have in a one page. Visual elements help, but even I want to just quickly show you, this is, say, my appointment script, which I've divided into some specifics. You could end up using something like that. Okay, so now you have that one-page format. You can use that as part of the post, and it will grab people's attention. People will kind of look at this. They won't understand everything, and what they will need to do is they will need to either message you directly, leave a comment on that post that you have. And this is a great way for the LinkedIn algorithm, say, or Facebook algorithm to kind of boost that post organically. If more people comment on it, a comment is worth much more than a like. Okay. And if people also begin to share that, then, it's one of those things that will help your post become viral. And that's how suddenly I had 75,000 views on the post last week, because people started sharing it and commenting on it. So then have a link which takes them to an opt-in page saying, hey, if you'd like this template together with a mini training, go to an opt-in page. Okay, so there'll be the same picture of the template, and then just there'll be a little orange download button, and all they have to give is the name and email ID. In the thank you page, we will take them through a walkthrough of this little template, and then we will show them that there's a much bigger, there are more steps, and if you'd like to find out more, then book a call. So if you notice that in the thank you page, there is a book a call. Now, a small percentage will initially do that, and then it goes to a small a calendar and a small form, which helps me get more information, and therefore I'm able to prepare and have a much better call. I'm able to check out their LinkedIn profile, check out the website, check out what are the current things that they're doing. And then for majority of the people, they will end up on my email list, and there's a simple 5-step email sequence that is there. Okay? So the first one delivers the lead magnet. The second one reintroduces, kind of introduces me, because I assume that they've not paid attention to who I am. So it does it in a way which builds credibility. The third one is a value-added post, nothing to click on, which helps them get a quick win. So it helps build trust. The fourth email says that, look, we actually have an entire system. Let me take you through the entire system, but it's literally just a executive summary, and it's a video format. So again, they get taken to a landing page which has nothing else except the video, and book a call with me. And then the last email is, in case they've still not booked a call, say, why don't you book a call with me? And that's basically it. In the video, it's simply, you start with the promise. So it's your pitch. Then show them proof quickly that, yes, you have solved this problem for yourself or for others. Then agitate the problem. Show how your solution is different. Give them context that this is just one part of it, and the best thing for them to do is have a call, and then step 6, invite them for a call. That's it. Alrighty, okay, I'm done, and I said that I'll be done in 50 minutes, so I think we're at 1:19, so that is 49 minutes.
You've done very well, Neeraj. So thank you for that. That's great. I mentioned to Nicola on a private chat while you're talking, I said, I can't believe how many things you're talking about today that I've said in the last 6 months. I think everybody on this call has heard me say these things, but I'm particularly, we're going to go to questions in a sec, and we're going to jump off the call in about 6 or 7 minutes. So, but before that, I'm really interested in your take on what's the best LinkedIn posts in your mind? What engages you on LinkedIn right at the moment?
There are 2 posts that work really well. One is the text-only post and a short text-only post, okay, which might only be like 2 lines. And the other one is a document post. and it's like uploading a PDF, but make sure it is like a carousel post, which is a 1080 by 1080 pixel. Imagine you're on Instagram, and maximum only 10 pictures with text, which can be read very clearly on a mobile phone. Okay, and the first slide on that is the headline, which is going to grab attention, and the last slide is the call to action. And then essentially you unpack the expertise in the other 8 slides. That's it. And that's I'll consistently get those into the 60, 70, 80,000 views. And I'm not one of these people who has like 30,000 connections, or I don't even have a tremendous amount of followers. I only have 9,000 followers. I've about 9,000 connections and 9,000 followers.
Yep, very good. We had a question from Angela. She's from New Zealand. Can you elaborate on Boolean search?
A Boolean search is when you use some operators like and, or, which allows LinkedIn or even Google to use a much more advanced search algorithm, which allows you to find more things. So take, for example, some people may be using the word CEO and others might be using managing director. Okay, it's the same thing. So inverted commas CEO or capital or, and then inverted commas managing director. And then it will give you a list of people that have used either one of those. So you won't then end up using your search ineffectively. Because every search that you do is counted, and then there's a commercial search limit.
Great. Next question for you. What sort of incentive would you offer for a positive Google review?
Good question. I'm not sure, because I'm inspired by my doctor friend, so I've just got my Google My Business account done. But that's a great question, and I'm curious to know what others would say to that, because I'd like to test those out.
Well, I definitely think reciprocating would be a good start to that, and then also, if you've got anything that you can give a person that's of value. And I'm not talking about giving them a free copy of your ebook or anything like that, but maybe inviting them to your private mastermind or something like that, where you can give them a little bit more exposure to you, I think would be a great idea. Paul said he posts almost every day. He reshapes articles that fit his purpose and adds supportive words to the author, and that helps them and me. And that's been a great strategy we've used too, Paul, although we are moving more at the moment towards video and away from articles, just because video is the sort of the thing. But I think it's worked very well for us for years now, really well. Anthony from Sweden says, what was the actual words in the first formula you wrote? So you've got visibility, credibility, and profitability, and then you've got the second one, which I didn't write down, which starts with V, I think, or K.
No, K. Yeah, it's KLT, which is know, like, and trust.
Know, like, and trust. Yeah, okay, makes perfect sense. Any other questions? Neeraj, I think it's been a fantastic time this morning. I think you just have really reiterated so many things for people, and you've given them so much value. Where's the best place to find you? And I know you're going to say LinkedIn, because I was literally having a look at what you're doing on LinkedIn. And for those of you that don't know and are new on this call or haven't heard this before, go and have a look at Lundy's LinkedIn. I've put it in the chat so you can copy that, Lundy Jack on LinkedIn. Her LinkedIn profile is being used by two of the biggest LinkedIn trainers in the world at the moment as examples of how to use LinkedIn, and particularly have a look at the About section and how she's using the About section, because she literally just updated that last week. And and I'll be copying that in future as well. And the good thing, Neeraj, about Lundy's LinkedIn, unlike mine, which is a little bit more obscure, is hers. I think she's got 26,000 people following her, but 25,000 of them are absolutely 100% in the target market that we're after. So, and I mean, I think that's the key as well, is attracting the right people. Neeraj, it's been fantastic today. I want to thank you so much for your time and effort. Good luck with the renovation on the house. Send me some photos next time you're in there at the site. I'd love to see those.
Absolutely.
And look forward to connecting with you when I'm next in India, which I talk to India every week because I've got a board member in India. So on our board call on Monday, I'm always on the call to Mumbai, but we're just saying we want to get together. So I'd love to see you next time I'm there. Thanks everybody for being on the call, and we'll see you all later.
Thanks so much. Please do connect with me on LinkedIn. Thanks.